nice vacation. Adam, if you want to send to the group that we're on, we are on Nun Dalet 54, 54A. Okay, we're on 54A, 54A3, the top of the page. 54A3, V'litni nami Rosh Hashanah shechal liot b'Shabbat. Everyone got it? 54A3? Let's bring everybody up to date of what the Gemara is talking about. We said there's an opinion of Achan, the Gemara, that says that on a day that has multiple musaf, by the way, the last two shiurim we gave, one we gave on the mitzvah of Kaddish, that said, Kaddish every day in davening. Morning, welcome back, Nathan. Morning, and we also spoke about the Hakdama from the Rabbeinu Bachai in Pashas Korach. Okay, we are on, Nathan, we're on Nun Dalet Amud Aleph, 54A3, and we're discussing the different sounds of the trumpets that were blown in the Beit HaMikdash. And the Mishnah stated that every day there was a minimum of 21 sounds of the trumpets that were blown by the Kohanim, that were blown every day. And the Mishnah stated, how did we get part of the 21 was you had 9 for the Karban Tamid, the morning Karban. There was 9 blasts of the trumpets, and there was 9 in the afternoon when they brought the afternoon Karban, and there was 3 every day, the opening of the gates. When the Beit HaMikdash opened up in the morning, they blew the trumpets to notify everybody that it's time for the Kohanim to get to where they need to go, the Leviim to go where they need to go, and the Israelim to go where they need to go. I would think, I would have to look up, the Mishnah here doesn't discuss it, but it's very, very early in the morning that we will. I would say before Nets, because it says we're going to see about maybe when the rooster crowds, so most probably it's like around Amud HaShachar, dawn. That's what I would think, but I have to look that up. But so there was these and the Gemaras, and when did they do these 9? The Leviim would sing every day, and during the Leviim song, and the way our Gemara seems to go, and Rashi, it seems that they sung both by the morning and in the afternoon, by the Karban, when they would let's say pour the water, the wine, not the water, the wine on the Mizbeach, the Nisach, they would sing, and during the singing, there were 3 spots at 3 different places. The Leviim would stop singing, and there was the blowing of the trumpets. And each sets of 3, exactly. 3 times 3, we got 9. And being there was the Ola, the Karbanot in the morning and the afternoon, special. So therefore they got 9, and 9 is 18. Now, Rav Acha said, and then for the day there's Musaf, you got another 9. Another 9 because there was a song also in honor of the Karban Musaf. But the question in the Gemara is, which we're going to see more about the singing, is what about a day that had multiple Musaf? A day that had, let's say, Shabbat Rosh Chodesh. We're just coming off of Shabbat Rosh Chodesh. So Shabbat Rosh Chodesh, as you know, there's special Karbanot every Shabbat. In honor of Shabbat, you have extra Karbanot than you have during the weekdays. That's why we have something called Musaf. Why do we pray Musaf on Shabbat? Musaf means additional. There was additional Karbanot. And the prayer corresponds to the Musaf, the extra Karbanot. But let's say, but on Shabbat Rosh Chodesh, not only do you have extra Karbanot in honor of the Shabbat, but you also have extra Karbanot in honor of Rosh Chodesh. So now you got double header of Musaf. We don't pray 2 Musaf, Shema Esrei. to Amidah. We get one musaf. We just mentioned the psukim. We mentioned the offerings, the musaf of the day. The question is, do you get an extra 9 blows? Do the Levium sing a separate song for each musaf? And would you get total of 18 blows, 9 and 9 by the musaf, because of the double musaf, or will they just blow one set of 9? So Rav Acha went on top of the daily 3 opening up, and then the other regular 18 every day. So like the Mishnah says, every day is a minimum of 21. 9 in the morning, 9 in the afternoon by the Ola Shel, the Talmud of the morning and the Talmud of the afternoon. 3 opening gates, 21. Now the question is, a day that has extra musaf, so you're going to get 9 for sure because of one of the korban musaf. You get an extra 9 because you have 2 musafim to bring.
30 or 39.
Exactly. That's the question in the Gemara. Rav Acha went on record and he said you will get a separate 9 for each korban musaf. So therefore, there'll be 39 according to that cheshbon, according to that calculation. And what the Gemara is doing now is the Gemara is challenging Rav Acha's position. That's what the Gemara is doing at this point, where we're up to in the Gemara. So, and then there's another point that the Mishnah stated. The Mishnah stated there's no day, the maximum is 48 blows of the trumpets. That was the maximum that we ever got. What was 48? What did we say about Yom Kippur? No, so the Mishnah stated that would be during Chol Hamoed Sukkot, Erev Shabbat, and Chol Hamoed Sukkot. Now, what's unique about Erev Shabbat and Chol Hamoed Sukkot? Because Sukkot, during Chol Hamoed, there's Musaf. That every day of Sukkot is extra korbanot, right? So every day was a different korbanot, different number of korbanot. So you have the everyday minimum of 21, plus you have the extra korban musaf, being that it's Sukkot, another 9 on the deal. You got 30, so 21 9 is 30. Then, because they had the mayim, they had the water ceremony for the Nisach HaMayim, so Friday morning they would be busy. Friday morning they would be busy going to draw the water, and they're going to draw the water. So what they would have 12 blows of the trumpets in honor of in Shaftem Mayim B'Sason. You draw the water with great Succah. So they had a total of 12. According to some, all 12 had to do with the water ceremony, and some say 9 had to do with the water. The 3 had to do with the Rava, the Hoshanot that they would place by the side of the Mizbeach, those big Hoshanot that they would place there. So some say you got 3, so 9 and 3. But at the end of the day, it was extra 12, but it's 42. It's just missing 6. But every Erev Shabbat, they blew 6 sounds. Why did they blow 6 sounds? One sound was to tell the people in the fields, the farmers, it's time to stop working. The second sound is to tell the people in the stores it's time to stop working. The third sound to tell the people you got to stop doing malacha, stop, whatever you're doing in your food preparation, finish up, stop now. And then they would blow another 3 to say, actually that now is Shabbat. We have to separate between Shabbat and weekdays. So that was in every Erev Shabbat, you got another 6. So you got another total of 48 blows. And that's what the Gemara says, that was the max. So the max was 48, the minimum was 21. That was what the Mishnah stated. But the Gemara is going to challenge Rav Acha that according to you, Rav Acha, that every musaf got 9 on the deal, got its own 9 blows. So why is the Mishnah listing that case, the case of Erev Shabbat during the holiday of Sukkot of Chol Hamoed, V'litni nami Rosh Hashanah shechal liot b'Shabbat. So let's take a look. Rosh Hashanah that comes down on Shabbat, right? So what will you have? Rosh Hashanah come down on Shabbat. You have the Ha'ika Tlata Musafim. Rosh Hashanah that comes down on Shabbat, there are 3 Korban Musaf. Why is it 3 Korban Musaf? Number one, Rosh Hashanah gets an extra Korban Musaf. An extra Korban in honor of Rosh Hashanah, the 7th month, first day of the month is Rosh Hashanah. Then you got you got also it's Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Hashanah is the first day of the year, but it's also Rosh Chodesh. You got another 9 because of Rosh Chodesh, and then you got another 9 because it's daily Karban, right? So you got 1 second. You get another 9 also because it's Shabbat, right? See how much extra you have. You have 27 extra. Rosh Hashanah comes on a Shabbat. Rosh Hashanah is 9. Rosh Chodesh is 9. Extra Shabbat is 9 extra. So you got 27. Plus the standard 21 of every day. 21 and 27 is 48. So the Gemara's question is, why don't you now? The litany nami. You should also listen to Mishnah. Why is the Gemara only listing this case of Sukkot? Why don't you tell me the case of you could tell me the case of Rosh Hashanah? Tell me the case of Rosh Hashanah Zecharias b'Shabbat. Dika Tlata, Musaf to Rosh Hashanah, Musaf to Rosh Chodesh, Musaf to Shabbat. So the Gemara says, I wanted to tell you this case because there's something novel. There's something novel about the case of Sukkot over the case of Rosh Hashanah that I'd rather tell you. What do I want to tell you? Why? Because I want to tell you because I wanted to tell you this point. What's the point I want to tell you? There is a question whether you blew the trumpets by the 10th step when you're going down, when they went from the Ezrat Yisrael to the Ezrat Nashim, when they're going down to draw the water, there was a question. Is the top of the steps, they blew the trumpets. The bottom of the steps, they blew the trumpets. The question was on step number 10, did they blow the trumpets or not? And that was a matter of dispute between the Chachamim and Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. And Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov said they did not blow the trumpets on the 10th step, and they did it. However, where they did it, they that's not included in the. They didn't blow over there. So the Gemara, and our Mishnah, when our Mishnah told us about the 48, did not mention about the 10th step. Since it didn't mention the 10th step, so it's telling us a novelty. It's telling us a chidush that you didn't blow on the 10th step. So therefore, we rather tell you this case. So the Gemara, because of this great chidush, Erev Shabbat shebetoch achak itzruchalei. Erev Shabbat, during the holiday of Sukkot, the Tana preferred to give us that case of the max for Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov to teach us this point. Like I mentioned last week, a rabbi always has to be cognizant of the fact that you have the pulpit. A pulpit is an opportunity to speak and to use it properly to maximize what you're teaching the people. So the rabbi in the Mishnah is he's at the pulpit, and he wants to, when he's giving over a lesson, he's going to pick a case. If he has to pick a case, he's going to pick something that's going to be the most you could get out of it, the more chidush, the more the novelty that you could. He's teaching you something extra, something new that you might not have known that would have given you the other case. So he'd rather give us this case over that case. So that's what the Gemara says, and he prefers this case. And even though you could say, like the commentary in the Banner brings down, even though there's also a novelty in the other case, the novelty of the case of Hashanah that comes down on Shabbat, there's a novelty to teach us that in every Musaf gets its 9 blows. But the Tana feels this chidush, he prefers this novelty over that. He likes this chidush more. He feels this is a greater chidush. Now, they don't explain why he feels that way, but he felt this is a greater chidush, and therefore he'd rather say this. That's what the Gemara wants to say. These are talking about the trumpet. Yeah, they would blow it for the korbanot on Shabbat. They would blow it. Yes. Shabbat Shana, yes. Because it's a biblical mitzvah. It's a biblical mitzvah, and the rabbis did not put their at least in the Beit HaMikdash, maybe outside, like you said, we have different things, right? So the Gemara says, "Otu mikama nitniha v'lo nitniha," meaning if the question was, why don't you say this case over this case? Why don't you say the case of Rosh Hashanah over the case of Sukkot? So then your answer would be a good answer. You rather tell me the case of Sukkot because of the novelty of Sukkot. But that wasn't really my question. My question was, Vilitni Nami. Why don't you also list this case? I wasn't asking, say this case over that case. I was asking, why don't you say both cases? Litniha v'litniha. My question was, why don't you mention both cases? Why do you only mention one case? That's my question. And being that's my question, so your answer is not an answer. Your answer was he prefers this guy. He gives the case of Sukkah, but Sukkah has a novelty. It teaches us you don't blow the trumpet on the 10th step. That's good. It's true. There's a novelty there. There's a chidush telling me that every musaf has its blows of the trumpet. So say both novelties. Why only say one? That was my question. So is that clear? That's the Gemara's question. The Gemara says, Tana v'shayet. The Tana is not a peddler. A peddler, he tells you all his wares. I have this, I'm selling you this, I have all the different things. If a Tana leaves over two cases, if there's multiple cases, the Tana doesn't feel the necessity to tell us all the cases that have 48, that have the max of 48. If there's two exceptions, if there's two cases, so then the style of the Tana I would say two cases. But if there's more than two, if I'm leaving over, if there's three cases, so it's the style of the Tana is not to have to list all three cases. The Tana will list one case if it's leaving over more than one. And because it's leaving over more than one, it doesn't feel the necessity to say, you can't ask the question to say this as well. If there's only two cases, then you always could say, just say both cases. What do you have to but if there's more than two cases, so for that, yes, that's what the Gemara is going to say. There is a third 48, then the Gemara is going to ask the question, so name that too. What is that case? What is that third case? But if there's more than one case that I'm leaving over, I don't need to say all three. So again, the question was, say both cases. The answer is, there's more than two cases. Tana doesn't feel, remember, the Tana style always was short. The Tana usually likes to teach, everything was by heart. They learned by heart. And therefore he wanted to say it in a very short, he didn't want to make a whole listing of all the different cases. So that's what the Gemara says. So then the Gemara asks Nathan's question. Okay, there is a third case. What is that third case that you're telling me that you left over? So the Gemara says the third case is Shayir Erev Pesach. They left over the case of Erev Pesach. Now, what was the story of Erev Pesach? So Rashi you turn the page on 54b, A1, 54b1, I'm sorry, 54b1, look at the Rashi Erev Pesach. The Erev Pesach, Rashi says, Sheyesh b'shlitas Pesach chav zayin tekiyot. In the slaughtering of the Korban Pesach, there was 27 blasts of of sounds that they blew accompanied the current Pesach. So Rashi says, "Pesach nishchat begimel kitot." The Pesach was slaughtered in three groups. There were three groups that how they came. The people came, kat achar kat, one group after the other, and every group, the first group that came, you read the Hallel three times during this first group that came. You had the Hallel read three times during the slaughtering of the Korban Pesach for all those people that came first session. Then there was the second session, and then again during the second session, the second group, you also had again you had the slaughtering, you had the reading of Hallel three times, and then the third session, then you had the Hallel the third time. So you had, and each time they read the Hallel, each time they had a total of nine blows. So you had 9, 18, 27. So the current each Hallel was three blows. That's right, and therefore you got a total of 9. 9, 18, 27. So the current Pesach had 27 blows that accompanied the current Pesach. 27 plus 21 is 48. So therefore, since we got 48 over there on that day, so we left over that day as well. So the Gemara says, that's not such a good answer, because Mishum Erev Pesach, if you're telling me that we left over because of the Erev Pesach, so
Erev Pesach was Friday, late afternoon.
right, that's what the Gemara later is going to right. That's what the Gemara is going to talk about that case. But we're going to get there. That's not the next piece of Gemara is going to talk about that. Now. So the Gemara says, because that's not extra. Why Hamani Rabbi Yehudahi? Because our Mishnah, whose opinion is our Mishnah that says that there's 48 blows by the Karban by on Sukkot? That's Rabbi Yehuda. Because our Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda says the Amma, and because our Mishnah did not mention the 10th step, right? Our Mishnah said that they did not blow on the 10th step. And the Gemara said, who's that opinion that says you didn't blow on the 10th step? That's Rabbi Yehuda. Now, that Rabbi Yehuda also says, he says that by Pesach, they didn't blow, they didn't get 27 in. When they brought the Korban Pesach. Why not? Because he says, the Amami Mayhem shall catch Lishit. The third group that would come in and they would blow the trumpets, when they would blow for the Korban Pesach, they never lohagia loma hafti kiyishma. They never got to reach the perek of the Hallel, even the first reading of the Hallel. The third group came in. There was still more Korban Pesach to be slaughtered, but even though there was more Korban Pesach to be slaughtered, there was not so many people left. And by the time they reached Ahafti Ki Yishma Hashem, they already finished. All the people were already, all the Korbanot already finished. Because the people were very few people left. So according to Rabbi Yehud, now, if you look at the Rashi says like this, that if you look at the Rashi is like this. Ve'ein ba'el ela gimel tkiyos. There were three sounds. And when they would start the Hallel, so good. So let's say you got the last group. So the first group, we had 3 Hallels. 3 Hallels, 9. The second group, we got 3 Hallels on the deal. When they're singing Hallel, we got 9 on the second. So we got 18. The third group, they blew in the beginning 3 sounds for the first Hallel, but they never had a second Hallel and the third Hallel. The third group only got one part of one Hallel in. By the time they finished singing the time they were singing, so therefore they only blew 21. According to Rabbi Yehuda, they only got 21 on the deal. So if you got 21 on the deal, so you don't have 48. Right? You wanted to tell me that there's another case that we had 48. And therefore, we left out the case of Rosh Hashanah that comes out on Shabbat because we have another case that has 48, which is the case of Erev Pesach. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, you don't have 48 in Erev Pesach. And the Tan of our Mishnah you had established earlier is the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda because I didn't mention about the 10th step. And now, so therefore, if it's Rabbi Yehuda, so according to Rabbi Yehuda, if he holds that on Erev Pesach did not get, you're not going to 27 plus 21, but you only got 21. Erev Shabbat, you would get an extra 6. You would get an extra 6. You get from, again, 21 plus 21, 40, right, would be 48, right. So the Gemara says, like this. So the Gemara says, Hakimna Reisha, we established the Reisha of the Mishnah, the Lok Rabbi Yehuda. The Reisha of the Mishnah, the Reisha of the Mishnah we established is not like Rabbi Yehuda. In what way it's not like Rabbi Yehuda? Because the Reisha said, how did you count the sounds of the Mishnah? In the Mishnah, it said that you had a minimum of 21 sounds every day, and you had 48 sounds on the holiday of Sukkot. Rabbi Yehuda said he counted the 21 sounds of every day as 7. He counted it as 7. How did he count it as 7? Because he looks at the Tekiah, Trua Tekiah. He looks at it as 1. He didn't give it a counting as Tekiah, Trua Tekiah as 3 sounds, even though there were 3 different sounds, but he counted as 1. Now, why did he count it as 1? He counted as 1 because he held that, let's say there can't be any interruption between one sound. He looked at it as 1 mitzvah. There was a question in the Gemara before, is it 1 mitzvah, the Tekiah, Trua Tekiah, or is it 3 mitzvot? If it's 3 mitzvot, so then technically you can have some interruption between, you can have more than 1 breath between one sound and another sound. If it's 1 mitzvah, Tekiah, Trua Tekiah, then you can't have more than 1 breath between each one. And since we established our Mishnah not like Rabbi Yehuda, so therefore it's not a question. You had asked me the question that maybe the Mishnah, you told me that the Mishnah goes like Rabbi Yehuda, and you said according to Rabbi Yehuda, Erev Pesach, you don't have 48, but we established our Mishnah not like Rabbi Yehuda, because we said our Mishnah holds that we count each one as a separate mitzvah. We don't count them, the group of 3 as 1 mitzvah. They're separate mitzvot. If they're separate mitzvot, so therefore it's not like Rabbi Yehuda, and it's not like Rabbi Yehuda, so therefore you could get an Erev Pesach, you're going to get 27. If you don't hold up Rabbi Yehuda, you get 27 and 21, so you got 48. We'll see tomorrow more about this calculation. Have a great day, everybody. Sure, to you. Thank you welcome back, Nathan. It's been a while. I just want to clarify one point that when the Mishnah, see, I mentioned the Mishnah, when the Gemara said the question, the Erev Pesach, the Gemara had the question, is Erev Pesach, do we have an extra one that we left over, right? There was to be left over another 48. And the Gemara says, the Gemara questioned that because the Gemara says maybe the Hamani Rabbi Yehudi, who is the author of Mishnah. So the Gemara, I mentioned before about the 10th step. I want to change that point. The Gemara's question is because perhaps maybe our Mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda, because the 10th step was the argument of Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov and the Tanakama. The Gemara's question was, I'm just clarifying for the Gemara's question is, maybe the Mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda, and according to Rabbi Yehuda, you don't have 48. Rabbi Yehuda says you only got 21 on Erev Pesach. So maybe the Mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda. And if it's Rabbi Yehuda, so you don't have we didn't leave over a second thing, because you don't have 48. That the Gemara says, our Mishnah is not Rabbi Yehuda, but our Mishnah, because Rabbi Yehuda said, it's all one mitzvah, the Tkiyah to a Tkiyah, and our Gemara lists them as separate mitzvahs, so therefore it's not Rabbi Yehuda. If it's not Rabbi Yehuda regarding if they're considered one mitzvah or not, so too it's not Rabbi Yehuda regarding regarding the law regarding Erev Pesach. And therefore we hold like I'm sure we hold like the Chachamim, you get 27 Erev Pesach. And therefore we have a second one that has different Erev Pesach, we'll have 48. Therefore, we have an extra one that we left over. Therefore, we don't mention Rosh Hashanah, but we have two left over to be continued tomorrow. Okay, just wanted to clarify.